The United States of America, this vast empire spanning nearly 3.79 million square miles, stands in stark contrast to the great empires of history that were built solely through wars and military conquests. The United States was built quite differently. It was literally purchased like real estate. It might sound strange, but it's true. Entire states, rivers, mountains, forests, and oil fields were nothing more than real estate deals. But how did America convince mighty empires to sell off their lands? And did those empires realize they were trading away priceless treasures? In this video, we will travel back in time over 200 years to uncover how a series of transactions forged one of the largest nations on Earth. At the dawn of the 19th century, France controlled a territory known as Louisiana. However, this was not the Louisiana we know today. It was a vast expanse of land covering over 2 million square miles, roughly equivalent to a quarter of the modern-day United States. The third U.S. president, Thomas Jefferson, dreamed of acquiring the port of New Orleans. He wanted just a single port that would allow farmers to ship their goods down the Mississippi River. He sent his envoys to France to negotiate the purchase of New Orleans for $10 million. But what happened next was a complete surprise. At the time, France was ruled by Napoleon Bonaparte, who was embroiled in European wars. However, the revolution in Haiti and an epidemic decimating his army left him in a dire predicament. His solution? He offered the Americans the entire Louisiana territory for $15 million, less than 8 cents an acre. Upon signing the agreement, the size of the United States nearly doubled. A few years later, specifically in 1819, Spain signed the Adams-Onis Treaty with the United States, ceding Florida in exchange for $5 million and the assumption of financial claims made by Americans against Spain. With this, the picture was nearly complete, and the U.S. controlled most of the land. But this wasn't enough. They wanted to reach the Pacific Ocean.
In 1836, Texas declared its independence from Mexico. After 9 years as an independent republic, it joined the United States. Mexico considered this a blatant act of aggression on its territory, as it had never recognized Texas as an independent state. This sparked a war between the two nations, which ended in a U.S. victory and the signing of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo in 1848. Through this treaty, Mexico ceded vast swaths of the American West. Concurrently, the United States had signed a treaty with Britain to divide the Oregon Territory, thereby completing America's coast-to-coast dominance from ocean to ocean.
Once the United States reached the Pacific, many assumed the era of expansion was over. However, a massive piece of land remained in the far north of the American continent, Alaska. At that time, Alaska was a colony of the Russian Empire, but Russia was suffering from a financial crisis following its defeat in the Crimean War, and it feared losing Alaska for nothing if a future war broke out with Britain, which controlled neighboring Canada. Therefore, Russia decided to sell the territory rather than risk losing it. In 1867, the United States signed a deal to purchase Alaska for a mere $7.2 million, equivalent to about 2 cents an acre. Yet the deal was met with widespread mockery within the United States. The press dubbed it Seward's Folly and Seward's Icebox, after Secretary of State William Seward, who had orchestrated the purchase. Many believed the government had wasted millions of dollars on a useless frozen wasteland. But a few years later, the surprises began. Gold was discovered in Alaska, triggering a massive influx of prospectors during the famous gold rush. Later, it was revealed that the land held enormous reserves of oil, natural gas, minerals, and rich fisheries. Over time, Alaska gained immense strategic importance. Situated between North America and Asia, it is separated from Russia only by the Bering Strait.
During the Cold War, it transformed into one of the most vital U.S. military outposts for monitoring the Soviet Union. Today, Alaska stands as the largest U.S. state by area, accounting for about 1/5 of the entire country. Its purchase is now regarded as one of the most successful real estate and geopolitical deals in history. And thus, the modern shape of the United States was largely completed, forged through a series of purchases, annexations, treaties, and wars that redrew the map of an entire continent.